Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Pointless Exercise Owen Caissie Hall of Fame podcast.
It's true.
Not just Owen Caissie, Caleb Williams too.
Yeah, well, that's another podcast.
All right.
That's not my podcast, but I'm on that podcast. No, that doesn't even make any sense.
Thank you.
Here to talk about the Cubs with us is, as always, Oleg and Praz. Praz, when is your other podcast? You already done it this week?
Been a little bit on hiatus because of my partner's work schedule, but usually we try to shoot for every other Monday or Tuesday. Chicago Sports Bums YouTube page, Bums in the Bleachers.
You guys have plans to do the next one? Is there a scheduled podcast coming up?
I'm going to check and see with him about tomorrow possibly, but again, Mondays and Tuesdays are usually his best days, so we'll see. And also he's, he's not, as would be the same with us, he's not exactly so encouraged to really talk Cubs these days with how things have gone since the trade deadline.
Yeah, I don't buy that excuse. I wrote about the Cubs for what, 20 some years before they won anything. Tough shit.
2006.
You got to do the
2005.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
Fans want to vent. Fans want to celebrate. There's always content.
Fans want to vent.
Speaking of that,
sounds familiar.
As we're recording, the Cubs, winners of 3 of their last 4 games. They're red hot. The Brewers, meanwhile, losers of 2 of their last 3. Clearly, the collapse has begun.
There we go. Here we go.
The Cubs have now gained, well, until tonight, unless assuming. As of right now, the Cubs have gained ground on the Brewers twice in the last 3 days. They hadn't done that since July 30th. They went that long without even picking up a half game on the Brewers. And they did it in a game when they beat the Brewers head to head. So
pretty much the only way it could happen. Well, good. So they didn't even have the pleasure of winning on a Brewers off day.
No, they never did. The Brewers didn't play. The Cubs went ahead and lost just for the hell of it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Oleg, even on the Brewers' off days, they always win it, no matter what. So
that's right. The Brewers beat the bye. They rallied from 8 runs down in the 9th. The Brewers. I wonder if they weren't. What if they were like the American League? What if they were the A's? Would we think this was like just a cutesy, fun little thing?
Well, the A's won 23 in a row, right?
The A's won so in back-to-back years in 2001, they won 22 of their last 25.
Oh, I didn't.
But they still finished like 20 games behind the Mariners because the Mariners won 116.
Yeah, that
games.
makes sense.
And they lost in the first round of the playoffs, and then the next year was the Moneyball year, and where they won 20 in a row, and they lost in the first round.
Tied a record
enjoy
by
this.
the
Enjoy this, Brewers.
Cubs?
That sounds right. 35, 38, 35. Do I hear 37? 30, going once. So take that, Brewers. This is as good as it gets.
Yes. Yeah. They're peaking at the wrong time for them.
I actually had this thought. They peaked so early that they could peak, have their inevitable downturn, and then be ready to re-peak in the playoffs.
It's thoughts like that make people not do podcasts.
Do you know who actually did that?
Yes. Yes, very good.
Two teams did that. The White Sox in 2005. Do you remember, Boog brought this up. Do you remember that the 2017 Dodgers lost 15 out of 16 games late in the season?
Oh,
I
do not remember that.
And went to the World Series, beat the Cubs in the LCS, and went to the World
wow.
Series. They had a huge lead, so it didn't really matter. Okay. But I was like, that's bullshit. And I went to their page, and I looked, it's just LLLLL. Well, I guess that's not bullshit.
That's even more surprising considering I want to say the Dodgers did not lose a game that whole playoff run until the one game that the Cubs beat them in the NLCS when it was too late. So, that's actually incredible.
Do you mean the last playoff win in Cubs history?
Yes, correct. That game.
That's right. Yeah.
Only been 8 years, Jed.
Yeah. And then the next game, Kiki.
It's making my eye twitch.
Yeah. And then the next game, Kiki Hernandez hit 3 home runs.
Yeah. And 2 at bats.
I wonder, somehow. And part of it is, I wonder if they had already clinched and just didn't give a shit about the last 2 weeks of the season.
Probably. Although that was a pretty good NL West, though, because you had 2 wild card teams come from there, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies that year.
Yeah. I'm going to look it up real quick. Today we had the most exciting thing that's happened in the bleachers, at least this week, was the guy in the first game today who had the mouse pad, the mouse, and the computer.
Yes.
Prove me wrong, Praz. Nothing more exciting happened in the bleachers?
Well,
a week.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that I'd classify the guy out in the bleachers with his laptop and his mouse as being very exciting. But yeah, yesterday I was there. I actually got a pretty good seat in section 503 for those people who are familiar with, say, Bleacher Jeff. It was the seat right before where he typically sits. He was not there, thankfully. And I'm there, and I think all of us who listen to this podcast are of this mindset. I know Andy is. I know I am. I would assume Oleg is too. Not the biggest fans of the usual left fielder for the Cubs and Ian Happ. But it was a nice breath of fresh air having Owen Caissie out there start that game in his first start in left field at Wrigley Field. I was being a little belligerent, and he comes out for the first, and I yell out to Owen. I say, "Hey, Owen, I already love you more than Ian Happ." And he actually gives me a nice little hat tip and a salute. Some of the people around that area didn't really care for that comment.
Fuck that.
Yeah, well, that's what you got around there. Later that game, it's the top of the 8th when the Brewers basically put the game out of reach. It was 3-0 going into that inning. They wound up busting it out for 7-0. Once again, and this is after me having a few drinks in me, yelling out, "Nice trade deadline, Judd. You did a real great job." And some guy in the row, or in the, not the row, the section next to me, mutters under his breath something to the effect of, "I hope this guy isn't here for game 2. He needs to stop being so negative. He needs to start being more positive."
Okay. When they're down 7-0.
Other than the fact that, the Cubs haven't really given me anything to be positive about that whole day. But I hear him say this, and I tell him to speak up a little bit. And that's when it gets taken as a threat. They call security, and I'm escorted out.
Did the other guy get kicked out too? He started it.
Correct. He did start it.
I'll call Crane. I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate that. I know you and him are on speed dial with each other.
We are buddies.
Christmas cardless.
Actually, I have a surprise for you guys later in the show, because he's not Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is going to join us live here in my basement, because he's
Here
not
in your
doing
basement.
anything.
Your Airbnb being it to him.
He's on 90 right now. He's very upset because he'd heard such great things about the Des Plaines Oasis, and it's not there anymore. He's very upset.
Yeah.
Threatened not to come, but I said, there's one in Belvedere. The Belvedere Oasis.
That's
Are
the
the
real
Cubs-
nice one.
Are the Cubs at least reimbursing him for all the tolls he has to pay?
Not a chance. Is
Not
the
a chance.
Belvedere Oasis?
Oh, he's on a bus. He's on a Greyhound.
Okay. So that's all built into
We're picking him up at the Hard Rock Casino when it.
He's
when it
actually
stopped.
he's on a mega bus because the Cubs will only give him $1 for the ticket. Yeah, that's the best he could do. Is the Belvedere Oasis the one that was like really two different oases, like the same one on either side of the highway? So if you're going one way, you pull off into one, and
Yep,
that's how it was. That's right. I remember that.
Oh, it was very well designed.
Yeah.
Okay, just to wrap this up, on Saturday, August 26, 2017, the Dodgers were 91-37, had a 20-game lead in the West. They then lost 5 in a row, 2 to Milwaukee, 3 in Arizona, 1 a game in San Diego, and then lost all the way till the 11th of September, where their lead had been a big hunk came out of it. They were only up 9. Let's see. So what were they when
so a bigger lead still than what the Brewers have on the Cubs.
Yeah,
That's great.
Oh, it could still happen.
Yeah.
And then so they were 92-52, and then they ended up 104-58. So they went 12-6. So they pretty much
That seemed to be kind of a trend for those Dodgers teams around that time, that like they would kind of just play with their food in the regular season,
I didn't remember. I remembered one of the Yankee teams went on lost 9 out of 10 down the stretch, and then I think won the World Series. But I didn't remember the Dodger one. I did remember the Sox one, because I still think there was a game. The Indians, it's the Indians then. They lost a game late when Grady Sizemore lost a fly ball in the sun in Kansas City. And I think they could have I think a win there would have cut, the Sox had already lost that day. I think it would have cut the lead to 1, but it stayed 2. And then the Sox won a couple of games, and all of a sudden it was 4. But then they didn't have the playoffs that year, which was unfortunate.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, you didn't have a strike. There was lack of interest.
Yeah, like I mentioned, nobody showed up.
They had a playoff game and nobody came. And they said, all right, fuck it. And everybody went home.
No, they didn't not
Oscar.
have the playoffs. It all ended when Albert Pujols hit that ball to the Gulf of Mexico off of Brad Lidge. And that was the end of it. Yes.
It is funny. If there's ever they talk about like turning point, you could never come back from that loss. Astros are one pitch away from going to the World Series, and then Albert destroys one.
Right.
They just won the next night and went to the World Series. You know what? We got another game tomorrow. Somebody, it's not like they didn't have the trauma of one of their own fans like batting a foul ball away from a player.
Right.
Who could recover from that?
Or a first baseman spilling some Gatorade on his glove and letting a ball go through his legs. Yeah.
Who could recover from that?
So,
So that I don't know nothing about this Brewers team.
No, I do.
It would be upsetting.
I do think my Matt Purfey, the ruddy-faced manager of the Brewers, did you see his quote about Owen Caissie after the first game of the doubleheader?
I think they're showing it right now, actually, on Marquee.
Oh, are they? He goes, well, they got this 6'12". He goes, they got this 6'12" redhead playing right field. He had played really good game. He's like, he's good because you would never call a redhead up to the big leagues who couldn't play.
What the hell does that mean? This guy's racist against redheads. What the hell, Pat Murphy?
Oh, that's kind of funny.
His name is Pat Murphy, so I think he's allowed.
Did anybody bring up Matt Merton to him? Let me tell you about Matt Merton.
Matt, he just needs a chance. Getting regular at bats.
Hey,
how old is he now?
You know
Early
what?
40s?
This is how we fix
Late
the Cubs.
40s?
He needs to be a spring training invite to spring training next year, and that's what triggered them to win the World Series in 2016 when he was there for that spring training.
Who, Matt Merton? Was he?
Matt Merton was, yeah.
Oh,
So
was in 2016.
I was going to say famously, but there's nothing famous about it. My first column for The Athletic was an open letter to Matt Merton, welcoming him back. And basically, I used it to set up I was introducing him to his new teammates.
Oh, okay.
And I remember I sent it to Greenberg, and he sends it back, and he's like, really? I'm like, run it. And he did. I thought it was funny. I thought it set the tone right away.
Yeah, I like it.
And no one was reading it then. The Athletic had only been around for like a month.
Yeah,
I was the fourth person to ever write for it.
So unceremoniously showed the door.
That's all right. It led me to expanding my vast media empire, so it's fine. So I want to ask you too about the Cubs playing the only card they seem to ever have with a struggling player, and that's just telling Kyle Tucker, "Oh, you'll get a lot better if we just don't play you for a while." It's like, you do know, right, that he's one of the 10 best players in baseball, and you only have him for like another month, and maybe he should figure it out while he's playing, because you really don't have time for this shit. But whatever, And Owen Caissie had a great game. Yeah, he could have been playing left. He didn't have to play right.
This is true.
You got another guy that's
supportive of
ass. He doesn't there's plenty of guys on this team that blow. Owen should be able to get plenty of at-bats. It's not that hard if you think he really is a good player to get him at-bats. But I kind of wonder, my expectation is that we'll just see Tucker on Wednesday. And if we don't, then I think it might be a problem.
No,
2 days seems about right?
Yeah. Well, he had yesterday off, right? And so today, 2 games today. The bat. I actually don't mind them doing this. I don't know if it's going to fix it. Whatever. But I don't mind them doing this. It just sucks that it has to be done against the Brewers. I wish they would have planned it a little bit better and maybe did it, against the Pirates instead.
Right.
Would they have done this if Miguel Amaya hadn't Nordberged himself off the bag in Toronto? Would he be playing? Would Miguel Amaya have played right field today?
I don't know what they would do then.
Well,
no.
If you're still having 3 catchers on the roster, it would be Seiya. That would make sense, actually.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Reese taking fly balls in center. In case for when Pete needs a day off.
If you get him in that much open space, he may be tempted to do some things that he does in parking lots.
Way out in the open.
Right.
Cubs don't have a bullpen. Well, what if they leave one of the yard carts, like one of the Cushmans, unattended? Wait a minute, the Cubs? No one is playing center field for the Cubs right now. Why is that? How come the gate is open in the outfield?
Right. The gate to Sheffield. Is there an ambulance coming through?
Yeah, I don't really mind them doing this. Like I said, it just sucks that they did it against the Brewers, but far be it for the Cubs to plan ahead a little bit.
No. I mean, he's been terrible. I mean, objectively awful. Hitting
Yeah.
like 171 now over his last 20 games. It's not just it's gone from slump to something worse.
Yeah, he's just rolling balls over on the ground. He's like 60% ground ball rate. Like it really has been an awful month and a half. And kind of taken a few days off because he didn't have the All-Star break off either, right? So I get it. Like I said, my thing with this just
should have just after the All-Star break ended, that Red Sox series, just let him go up to Lake Lawn Lodge and hang out for a few days.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
decompress, give the Leo DeRocher suite, and then he can come back.
Sure. Whatever.
I mean,
like it just against anybody but the Brewers. Like, why now?
Is it a good sign that Isaac Paredes last played on July 19th and he still currently has more home runs than Kyle Tucker?
It's because of the Crawford boxes. Anybody can hit a home run there. How come the Astros don't have a guy with like 75 homers in a season then?
Yeah, exactly.
They want to. Because if they did, then they know Major League Baseball would make them move the fence back. I've got all the arguments. I've got them down. Don't worry about it.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even realize that was true. I don't know that I care very much. But.
How's Cam Smith? Actually, I could tell you because he's on my fantasy team and he's unplayable. That's how
Is he?
been.
Good.
Yeah.
He's been
Good.
that bad. Why?
He's had a rough second half. It's his first full season. He's tired.
Well, and again, the thing with Cam Smith we got to realize is
He's
if
a nice
he was
player.
he is a good player. But if he was still in the Cubs organization, he would not be at the major leagues right now like the Astros have.
Well, maybe
At least-
now, considering no one can hit. I mean, Owen Caissie's up.
Okay, at the very least,
He
he
might
would not
be up.
have started the season and been here all year like
No,
the Astros
he would
have
not.
done.
Well, they didn't have a spot for him, right? I mean, the Astros were so hurt for outfielders, they moved Altuve out there. It's not that Altuve was ever that great of a second baseman, but
Well, Cam
So
Smith, though, were he a Cub, he would fit right in. Here are his second half numbers. 97 and 88 at bats, 97 plate appearances, 159, 227, 205, with no homers and 9 RBIs. So
Yes.
basically,
yeah,
they replaced Kyle Tucker with Kyle Tucker.
There you go. Beautiful. Even trade.
That's funny because there's some Astro fan out there. God, I wish we still had Kyle. Oh, wait, we kind of do.
yeah.
Never mind. Don't worry about
I will say that it does seem. I mean, the Cubs aren't the only one going through this. It's just very visible because of the Brewers. But the
it.
Mets.
Yeah, like,
have
well, the
been
Mets and the
awful.
Yankees. It's like
Yeah,
and the Dodgers
Yeah,
bullpen is so bad right now,
Yep.
and Mookie is kind of having a Kyle Tucker second half. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, for as the frustration I think around this is multifold. The change.
Yeah,
Lee
well-
Elia. I'm going to use a Lee Elia word.
yeah.
The,
Multifold. There you go.
Look it up. It's in his famous rant. It's the frustrations for fans are, yes, the Brewers, every time you look up, the Brewers are winning or they're losing, and then you look and they won. So, yes, that pisses you off. Number two, though, is that the Cubs have been like, well, they're not scoring, and that's the worst
Yes.
thing in
Yeah,
any
yeah.
sport. And we seem to have lived through it with everything. You know, like the Bears can go entire decades and score 8 points a game. And it's just, it makes it so rough to watch. And so do the Cubs. Then there's the fact that we all expected, because we're dumb, that Jed would actually
Yeah.
do something at the deadline to both, because we all saw this coming. Like, they weren't hitting before the deadline. It's like, okay, you got to add a bat. At least give Craig like a right-handed hitting outfielder. It doesn't have to be a star, but get somebody. He didn't do it. And so then you just get madder and madder. And and that's why it's funny that you get Praz, you get thrown out of a game for being negative when all the articles about the game mentioned how badly the Cubs got booed. Like, you weren't the only one who was
Correct.
yelling at the Cubs.
Well, you heard on the radio after Tucker. No, I guess this was a couple days ago. I don't remember what it was. Tucker did something and got booed. Like it was
on Sunday.
He got booed in one of the Pirates games, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
yeah, I thought
Sunday
that's
he
what
didn't
it was.
run out
It
a
had to
ground
be.
ball.
Oh, he
that
didn't
led-
run. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Well, he's fine. Like
I mean, admittedly,
guess I
he hit the
sorta
ball. He hit the ball right to the first baseman, right out of the bag.
Yeah,
Like, it's
What are you
not
gonna
like the ball was hit to shortstop and he didn't bother to run.
yeah.
It looks
he
bad
took
because
2
he barely
steps.
got out of the box, and it's like,
Right.
make it. How about a little something for the effort? But
But even he took probably. I didn't see it. I was gonna say it's if it's right to the first baseman, it's 3 steps and he's got the ball. Like
It
there's
wasn't
no
even-
stands.
if I
to
remember,
run.
it wasn't even that. The ball
Yeah.
basically took the first baseman to first base. It was, and so but fans were booing the totality of his work.
Yeah. You know what he's done? He's turned into Jason Hayward.
Yeah, he has. Maybe there's
Just a
something
bunch
weird
of ground
going on out
balls.
there.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of ground balls to that side of the infield. He's just turning over everything. And the one thing that I did read, I don't remember who wrote it. It may have been Sahadov. One of the things that I did read was that his bat speed seems to have fallen off.
Yeah, they think they're trying to tie it in. Well, it was weird, right? Because I guess that's data that's not like easy for mortals to get.
Okay.
I mean, just to actually, like, we can't go to Baseball Savant and go, all right, since this date,
Yeah,
what is
yeah,
his?
yeah,
But it's
right,
obviously,
right.
and somebody from another team had mentioned that, like, since he hurt his finger, there's been his bat speed has noticeably declined.
Yeah.
From what they're measuring. Like, they can go to that date
Yeah,
and then look at his
yes,
numbers
yes.
from then.
Yeah.
And so they're like, there really is something. It's not, which actually is, I'm sure it's for him. It's probably good because he knows in his head, like, I'm still good. But for us, it's like, well, that's not going to fix itself in 2 days.
Yes.
That doesn't do us any good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for those people watching, we did kick Praz out of the podcast. We thought he was being too negative. We had an usher come and escort him out off of the live stream.
Oh well, maybe he'll come back.
I wonder if I have to let him back in. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Will I get
oh.
the notice of him coming back too? That'll be fun.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
My only witnesses are canines, and they were 4-legged. But watching game 2, I'm literally just watching the game, and Boog is going on about how Caissie got his first hit the other day and got his first RBIs in the first inning, and I literally said, well, you might as well just hit his first home run. And the ball went out. I could barely finish the sentence.
Yeah.
And it was heading to this. So I'd like to take credit for Owen Caissie's first career homer.
Yeah, that's cool. Today on the broadcast, because I was listening to Pat and Ron, they were talking about Paul Zarang, the engineer, and I didn't know that he was a music guy, and how people were referring him to Ziggy. And you must have, it must have sounded like George Carlin at his peak was performing.
Oh, God.
Zach Zaidman, holy cow! It was
embarrassing.
Of all the things, that was the funniest thing he'd ever heard in his life.
It's like, don't you have any pride?
Holy cow!
Yeah,
Between the weird pauses that he's got in the middle of plays, where you just don't know what the hell happened or what's going on. He's describing the play before he tells you the result of it. The other day there was a pop-up. I don't remember what it was. Sorry, this is by Bitch about Zach Zaidman segment of the podcast. There was some pop-up, and all he says is popped up. You have no idea whether it was a foul ball. You have no idea whether it was on the infield, wherever. What? Like, all he says is popped up. It was for a count of 2. And he's like, and the shortstop, whoever the shortstop was, I don't remember what it was.
That's bad.
Like, what? Like, what? The Joniak School of Broadcasting.
Boog had a good one today. He was talking about when Pete got thrown out trying to steal in the 8th.
Yeah.
They're trying. And he goes, one thing that teams are starting to coach their catchers on is to err on the side of the throw going to the first base side of second base, not to third base.
Right.
Because I'm like, new? I was like, that's exactly my thought. Was like, you fucking think they just thought of that 100 years ago? They would have thought of that. It doesn't do you any good to throw behind the runner. It's like, God. I mean, he is consistently amazed by the dumbest stuff. Yeah. My favorite, and it'll never get old, is he is shocked to find out that a player was great at another sport in high school. It just blows his mind that a player athletically gifted enough to play Major League Baseball in high school might have been good at something else.
Wait till he hears about Ethan Conrad. I could just picture some coach in the 1930s going, I want the throw to go to the third base side. Manager walking by like, what are you saying? What are you doing?
It's like, really? Who's somebody told? Like, I wonder if like scouts and stuff just go, let's see what we can get Boog to believe. And just tell him the dumbest shit.
Did you know?
Do you know the first?
The dictionary?
Boog, do you know that the reason they call the weighted thing they put on bats, the index, they're called donuts, is because they used to actually be petrified donuts?
Wait till you hear.
That's good stuff. Let me write this down.
Yeah. And you're like, you walk by and go, wait till you hear about the rosin bags.
Do you know they used to be that? You know they had an edible one for a few games once. I read that. I've Googled that. Nephew Perez ate one. Did you know that? Oh, how great would it be if he somehow told that story on the air some night?
My God, holy crap!
Hey JD, did you know this? Jim, what? What are we talking about
right now? I read it on Google. It came up.
Google it right now. Oh, look there! It is there.
That's one of the funniest things ever, man. That's just great.
It just shows how confident you should be in AI that it
Yeah.
couldn't tell a parody thing about Neffy eating the rosin bag because he thought it was
Yeah.
a snowball.
I mean, to be fair, it's all right. Not to defend AI, but it did the right thing. It's out there, and you can't tell if it's parody or not. It's
kind
out
of a
there.
flaw, though, right? Shouldn't it look for?
No.
They couldn't it have looked for maybe a second source? I don't think anybody else ran with it. other than me.
Yeah, I don't know that that's how that works. It's not a journalist, right? It doesn't.
I guess.
It
Well,
just-
clearly it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, for an article I wrote on Monday, it was
Mhm.
just one of those things that I was like laying on the couch on like Friday, going when the Cubs. Wait, which one was that? Was that the one where they lost the lead and then Pence gave up the home run in the ninth or whatever in the
Okay. Yeah.
top and they
yes.
lost?
Yeah.
And I was just like, when was the last? And well, no one, because we'd seen the stat that when they fall behind, Praz is
Yeah.
back. He's gonna be on his phone, I think. So brace
geez,
yourselves
all right.
out there for this.
Can't wait to see this.
Sorry about
Just
that,
knowing that
fellas.
they're-
My bad.
There he is. So it's just a feeling, right, that they never come back from this. So I started
Yeah.
looking, and then I had to go back. Well, actually, what I really wanted to know was during that span when the Cubs lost 18 in a row, when
Mhm.
they fell behind at any point,
Mm-hmm.
what did the Brewers do? And the Brewers, just because baseball is symmetrical, during that time, the Brewers had 18 come from behind wins, while the Cubs had none. There were none in the Brewers. But then I also got to thinking about, this was actually when they kept the game they won on Sunday, where they kept loading the bases and scoring one run. And they did it 4 times, so they won 4-3. And I was like, when was the last time they scored 2 runs in a game? And that was so depressing. They did it. In the first 131 innings of August, they scored more than 2 runs. 2 runs. They scored 2 runs in an inning 8 times. That's it. In 8 innings. Brewers had 33 of those innings.
I know you posted on Blue Sky the stat about they hadn't had a 3-run inning until today in August. Did you happen to mention while I was away that like the last time they did have one?
It was like the day before this whole streak started.
Okay.
It was a game against the Cardinals. They just lit them up. They scored they had a 6-0 lead after 2 against the Cardinals. I think Eric Fetty, one of his last starts.
The 8 home run day on July 4th? Or no?
No, holy shit.
It couldn't have been that long. But
Yeah, no.
maybe it feels like that long. I don't know.
July. It was in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it had been a long time.
It had been a while. But they did a lot in the first half, so it evens out.
So the Cubs averaged, is this right? Well, the Cubs averaged 5.3 runs a game in the first half of the season. They're averaging 3.8 in the second.
Yeah.
The Brewers averaged 4.8 runs in the first half. They're averaging 6.9 runs per.
Nice.
Scrappy little fucks. And I like how people are like, well, the reason they do it, and the example was Caissie in the game 1 on Tuesday threw home when he clearly wasn't going to be able to throw the guy out, and then like one of their gritty little fucks, Terang or whoever, got to second and was in scoring position, and then they scored 2 runs scored on the next hit instead of 1, and they're like, well, that's why the Brewers win games. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, the Cubs do that too.
Right.
They're actually good at it. The problem is, for the last month, nobody's been on base to do it.
Right.
and when they have done players on base, like, to your point, like scoring 1 run with the bases loaded in 4 consecutive innings, like you got to break through in one of those. So it's not you're not scoring in bunches. You're not getting big hits. You're not. It's just it's frustration after frustration, and everything happens at once. All of the star players went into a slump all at once. Like everything just happened at once.
Well, and I can see why they don't want to get on base. But being on base has been dangerous.
This is true.
We had
game 1,
It all started with Dansby beating out that ball against the Reds, but not actually touching the base.
Yes.
That was misadventure number 1. Then we had John Birdie stealing second, but his little oven mitt went up a 1/4 of an inch over the bag, so they couldn't overturn it. That ended up caught. And then the very next pitch is a single that would have scored him to tie the game. Then we had Miguel Amaya trying to commit suicide at first base in Toronto. That thing is still, now that we know he just sprained his ankle, now it's hilarious.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
I actually laughed at the time, like out of like horror and entertainment. I've never seen a guy like fly up in the air like that.
It was disbelief.
That's
at
why
that
I
point.
thought of Nordberg going down the. That's the only thing I could think of was his body just flying through the. I'm like, what are you doing? And then they followed that up with Pete trying to steal second and not being able to hold the bag and basically sliding into left field. It's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I want those oven mitts. The oven mitts gotta go. They can't be trusted. Only Vidal Brujan knew how to use the oven mitts, and that was Vidal learned how to like take it off while he was sliding. It's like, Vidal, I don't think it's helping if you're gonna take it off before you grab the bag, but at least he learned how to do it.
Yeah.
And he's gone.
I mean, I guess it's a little bit of a double-edged sword with the oven mitts because they give you the extra reach, but you can't really grip anything with them. And of course,
I think what they're supposed to do is protect. I think they're supposed to protect their fingers from jamming.
That's true.
Like,
That's
I mean, it's not a fun
they were
thing.
well. It's funny. They were invented for that, but then players they've gotten elongated to the point now to try to touch the bag quicker. That now I think they're just unwieldy. Like they can't hold on to the bag. It's like, okay, maybe a team should be like, fine, we're not gonna. The extra 2 inches on the end is doing us more harm than good.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get rid of that. And you're going to be able to grab the fucking bag, or you're not going to be able to wear it. You're going to have to go back to the good old days when you just hold your batting gloves in your hands. That's how they used to. That's how you used to not jam your finger
pocket or whatever.
Was you literally held your batting gloves, then when you slid head first, your fingers weren't out to jam into the bag.
Yeah. Well, Tim Raines couldn't put them in his back pocket when he was sliding.
That's right.
First. Yeah.
Well, he couldn't slide head first.
Right. No, he could. He couldn't slide feet first.
Yeah, he couldn't slide. Oh, that's right. He couldn't slide feet first because it would break his precious cocaine
vial. Yeah.
Yes.
In his back pocket.
Praz laughs. That's a real thing.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a reason they call him the Rock.
The Rock. Yeah.
Well,
because he's built like a square. Well, are we sure? Was it an ironic nickname? He was a great player until he got to the Sox, and then he was just a White Sox. But Montreal Expo Tim Raines was pretty
those Expos.
I was gonna say him and Dawson together in the same outfield. That would have been awesome.
They had 4 great outfielders. They had too many at one point.
Yeah, they had too many. Yeah, because they had
the guy with
not Warren Brewster, Warren Cromartie.
Ron Cromartie, yeah.
Cromartie, Dawson, Raines, and who's the other one?
Is it Al Oliver or
no, Scoop? He played first base, and his nickname Scoop was ironic because he was a terrible first baseman. Like a really good hitter, he couldn't catch shit. That's why they call him Scoop.
Is he currently not now that Dave Parker's in? Is he currently the best player not in the Hall of Fame?
Who?
Not until Nick Madrigal retires.
Whoa. Like, that's what I mean. Like, out of the eligible ones.
Well, I mean, there's the 2 obvious ones in Bonds and Clemens, but you're talking non-steroid guys.
Yes. Right. Yes. Jay Hilgenberg?
Jay Hilgenberg.
Yes.
Oh, wait, sorry. That's the George McCaskey answer.
Okay.
He used his brief time on a preseason game being interviewed locally, like it was going to matter, to push for Jay Hilgenberg for the Hall of Fame. It's like, George, he's a great player, should be in. I don't think talking about it during a bare preseason game is really going to help.
Well, it helped Sano.
Yeah, Jay. Honestly, I would let Jay replace Tom Thayer in the radio booth.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd let anybody replace. God, those two.
Yeah, I would let Steve McMichael right now replace.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
I'm gonna look up. I'm distracted by Expo outfielders. Ellis Valentine.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
Ellis Valentine.
That's right.
He was Ellis was really good.
Yeah,
Dawson, Ellis Valentine. They had Ron LaFleur for a while.
Well, that was before. I think that was before. Because I'm talking like the early '80s. I think Ron LaFleur was kind of late
LaFleur was
70s,
'80.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, was he? Yeah. Okay.
That's before. That was after. It was the year in between his time with the Tigers and the White Sox. He played for the Expos for 1 year.
Ron LaFleur.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Those were.
I don't know what year he got. Him and his wife got arrested for. They went looking for substances and left their baby unattended. So it spawned a lot of Ron LaFleur babysitter jokes.
Yeah.
Say
the '80s were a crazy time in baseball, man. Dale Berra of our people was a cokehead. Dale Berra, man. Crazy times.
I'm surprised nobody's done. Maybe there is. You think there's a documentary 30 for 30 on that Pittsburgh drug trial? Because it was crazy shit came out. Like the Keith Hernandez thing. I mean, it's funny. That was like too much for the Cardinals to handle. They had to trade him. It's like, I got to look around your clubhouse. If you think Keith is doing this by himself, I got news for you.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that not what led to Darryl Kyle's untimely death? Didn't they find that in the toxicology reports after? Or
I don't
It was weed.
okay.
So it didn't.
Eh.
Was that
He
what it
didn't
was?
die. Yeah, he had weed in his system. He didn't die.
Well,
For sake.
Okay, well, Cardinals, nice
The
standard you're
Cardinals,
holding there.
well, the Cardinals at the time had Daryl Porter, right? Lonnie Smith. Well, else? I feel like there were some others. I don't know. But yeah, that's hilarious. George Hendrick, was he unknown? I don't know if he died. I don't want to besmirch the good name of George
Yeah, I
Hendrick.
don't know. Remember George Hendrick he wore his helmet in the field.
Yes.
Very, very John Olerud like.
He also led the 1982 Cardinals in home runs with 19.
Yikes. Wow.
Darryl Kyle died of coronary artery disease. That's what he died of.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were drugs in his system, and it was marijuana. So at least that we know of.
Yeah.
Is that really a drug? At least at the time, probably it was, but
Why? Why would it change?
I'm just saying how they
Sorry,
would
I'm not gonna get
would
into it.
probably classify it at the time. But
Autopsy found that Kyle had an enlarged heart.
Okay.
See, he was all heart. That's the Cardinal way. He's all heart, literally.
he left his heart on the field. It was just dripping out of him.
left his heart at the Chicago Western.
Yeah. Later to be joined by
2 of his coronary arteries were 90% blocked, and there was a blood clot in one artery.
Wow.
Kyle's father had died from a blood clot in 1993 at 44 years old.
Wow. Did Kyle pass? Wait, what was I just thinking? What year did Kyle die? Was it
02.
in the early 2000s?
02.
02. Okay. Okay. I remember I was down by the lake. I don't remember what I was doing down by the lake, and I heard about it.
The Wikipedia entry actually has Joe Girardi the text of his on-field announcement in it.
Wow.
Why?
Excuse me. I thank you for your patience. We regret to inform you, because of a tragedy in the Cardinal family, that the commissioner has canceled the game today. Please be respectful, because the crowd was probably going crazy. Like, yeah, it's Cardinal tragedy in the Cardinal family. Started doing the wave. The only time it's acceptable to do the wave.
Stop doing the wave.
Please be respectful. You will find out eventually what has happened, and I ask that you say a prayer for the St. Louis Cardinals family. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. No matter what happened, I would not be doing that.
One of the weirdest things that they actually had a player on the other team make the announcement on the field before the game. Now I go, they didn't have a video. Now they just throw it up on the video board.
Yeah,
exactly. They'd be like, all right, up there.
Yeah.
If everybody file out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think for like rain delays
That's-
back in the day, would they have to like announce it over the PA system that like, sorry, game's canceled.
Yeah.
Everyone get out.
Well, for a while they had the one little like video, or they had like an LED board under the scoreboard with the Bud and Bud Light ads on each side of it. That was the most you could get. That would like 2 lines of text.
Yeah. Like I remember in the early aughts, you had to be in the early aughts, in a game against the White Sox. It was a Friday game. It started raining after the 5th inning. They filed everybody, or maybe everybody just whatever it was, after the 5th inning, and we all stood around just sort of drinking beer for like 2.5 hours. And they're like, the game's postponed. Or not postponed, whatever it is. The game's suspended. And everybody like drunkenly leaves the ballpark because everybody's just hanging out down, like there was nothing else to do but hang out with everybody else, just knocking back beers.
Was that back in the old days when Pat Piper had the bullhorn and he'd be running around the stands? Ladies and gentlemen,
Attention,
he did that until 1974. Actually, but they may have given him a microphone by then. He was the PA announcer really from 1916
Wow.
to 1974.
Do you remember
Still getting paid 25 cents a game.
Absolutely. Oh, by PK Wrigley? Absolutely.
like the 4-piece band, the horn section, they used to walk around and play.
Mid 2000s, I remember they'd be around a lot.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're around for a little bit. That was actually kind of fun sometimes. But yeah, I remember that.
Going back to what we were saying about like the Cubs base running mishaps, Pete had the really bad one on Friday against the Pirates. And I'm going to do a podcast tradition of dumping on Ian Happ once again. But the inning right before, Ian Happ was thrown out trying to steal a base as well. And I believe he may have started his slide a little early, and that's what slowed him down. And I heard someone that I was talking Cubs, say that like Pete started his slide late, and that's why he overslid after beating the throw.
Overslid.
Yeah, and I wonder, if that's,
I think Pete, though, doesn't Pete intentionally slide late? Like, that's kind of his thing.
Could be.
He tries to carry as much speed into the bag as possible, and figuring he can hold on to the bag, and he just couldn't. He basically did the same thing in game 1. he was out, but they tagged him on the butt, but then he slid past the bag and he lunged back. The Brewers didn't tag him, but they didn't need to because they gotten him on the first time. He did the exact same thing. It's like, all right, you're still doing that? Like it's like the old from the Seinfeld episode where they're in the Chinese restaurant. And it's like, okay, it's not just enough to take the reservation. You need to keep the reservation. It's
That
not
was in the
enough,
Chinese
Pete,
restaurant.
to get to second baseman.
Yeah.
That's not the same one?
No,
Isn't that the Chinese restaurant one?
No, it's the car rental.
Okay. Oh,
You're
you're
talking
right.
about
I can picture it now. Because
Yes,
his girlfriend is running the cart, right? And he's just being a smart ass behind him.
Yeah. I don't know if that's right.
That's not cart ride. Cart ride. Anyway, it's Pete, it's not enough to just get to the bag. You have to hold the bag. You can't just steal the bag. You have to keep the bag.
Yes.
Well, I mean, and the disappointing part about it all is like when Pete and like basically the rest of the offense, but when Pete was like carrying the offense while they were smoking hot, it was a lot because he was doing really good when it came to like stealing bases like that. And I wonder if possibly like his poor hitting over the last, almost month or so now has kind of hindered his ability to, really get up to speed on stolen bases and, time his slides effectively. I wonder if that's affecting that part of his game at all.
I think you're making a really good point. What I feel like is everybody's just sort of pressing. Like it's just like this weird thing where everybody feels like they have to do something because everybody's slumping. And I think that's sort of what you're getting. It's in every facet of the game. They even defensively, they've had some weird plays. I mean, Dansby had 2 errors in the game. It was just I feel like everybody's just kind of trying to do that one extra thing out in the field because everybody's just playing badly.
So
and has been for a long time.
Boog had a stat in game 1, Pete got thrown out, that Pete has only stolen 1 base in the last 19 games he's played.
I believe
and I joked, well, it's because he's only been on base 3 times. But I just pulled it up. How many times do you think he's been on base in the last 19 games?
Oof.
Is it 5 times?
Well, it's more than that. But it's not a lot.
Yeah.
12 times.
15.
15.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a 271 on base average.
Yikes.
So,
wow.
And how many, let's see, 4 doubles. So unless he's going to steal third, no homers, no triples. So he got himself to first base in all those games 11 times.
Yeah.
You're not going to steal a lot of bases in 11 times being on. And we don't even know how many times he was on with it's the Cubs. So, they get guys on base. They just never score anybody. So he may have had somebody standing on second base in front of him for bunches too.
And yeah, that's right. And especially, hitting fourth. I would imagine. It just, and they get behind, and I think a little bit to your point, like they're not coming back from anything. So
it really bodes well for their playoff prospects that they can't handle a slump. When they start to slump in August, they start like tensing up. It's like these games are going to get more important later, guys. You might want to learn how to handle adversity now because you're going to run into real stuff in the games that matter.
Right. I don't think like they've had bad games in the first half when they've been able to come back from those bad games. Right. They still haven't lost 4 in a row all year. Is that right? Do I have that right? Like they're still a little like, but this is more than a slump. Like now you're talking about a month and a half worth of games, and that's kind of a big deal.
They've actually wasted a fair amount of good pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reason they've been able to stay 500 during this is that they really, for the most part, have pitched really well.
Yes.
Every once in a while, the bullpen blows up, and every once in a while, but they pretty much get they usually get an acceptable, their bar, they almost always get like an acceptable start. Every once in a while, they get a bad one, but not very often. The pitching keeps them in the game, and I think, honestly, it probably leads to more frustration. It almost forces you to watch the whole game because they're in it, and then they lose it. In the end, you're pissed. Where it's like, you know what? Just fall behind 8-0 in the first once in a while, so we can watch something else. We'll be less pissed the next morning.
Yes,
because we will have watched, we'll have watched a movie instead of
right. It's crazy how like every game is like a microcosm of like what who was that like Marlins president who like made that comment on the radio a few
David
years.
Sampson?
Yeah, saying like the goal is to always be in second place to keep like fans interested. It's like every game is a microcosm of that at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, it's funny, David Sampson, he's on, Pablo Torre has him on his podcast a lot, and his interesting conversations with John Skipper, the old ESPN.
Really?
Speaking of cocaine, the old ESPN head of ESPN. If you look at John Skipper, he'd be the last guy. He literally was using cocaine for, like, not to get high, but to stay awake. But he got busted, like, and people believed him because they've been around him. Like, I forget, like, his drug dealer got busted and his name was in the thing, but he got fired because that's how they found out that Skipper was buying coke. He's like a super nice guy. Everybody loves him in ESPN. But anyway, they have their but it's like every once in a while I would like Pablo to remind people that the reason David Sampson was the president and general manager of the Marlins is because his father-in-law was Jeffrey Loria, the owner of the Marlins.
Did not know that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he's the son-in-law.
Oh, man. Wow. That's bonkers. All right.
So we had closer crisis over the weekend because all of a sudden Palencia gives up a home run on Friday that he doesn't. Then they have save opportunities Saturday and Sunday. He doesn't either time. It turns out he had the poop. He had the poops. He couldn't pitch. He had the poops. One thing I like, JD points it out a lot. One of the things that Palencia does that I really like is, because I think it would be super effective with a guy who throws as hard as he does, is Palencia usually once or twice in at bat will get set as quick as he can and then just hold the ball for like 7 or 8 seconds before the pitch clock goes down. Because if you're the batter and you think you're going to see a 102 mile an hour fastball, you have to just get tenser and tenser and tenser while you're waiting for him to throw the damn ball. It's really effective. He doesn't do it all the time. Sometimes he goes fast.
Right.
But he did it. He was doing it to the Brewers a bunch in the 9th inning in Game 1 on Tuesday, where he's just holding it and making, you could almost feel them get uncomfortable because it's like, just pitch it already. God damn it.
Yeah.
But I like that. You don't see a lot of guys monkeying with the pitch clock like that, but it seems like that really would, especially if you throw hard, that really would be effective.
Why did they make the hitters get in the pitcher's box with 8 seconds? Like, that's a long time.
Yeah, and that's what he does. He takes advantage of that. So he'll
5 seconds.
He'll be ready at 8.
Right.
So now there's 7 seconds of you just staring at him.
Yes. Yeah.
That is somewhat.
Most hitters do that beforehand, right? They get in well before 8 seconds, so they don't get the strike. Right, so a lot of hitters will stand there for 10 seconds.
Yeah, that is.
But don't you have to? Aren't there like different levels? Don't you have? They have this stupid thing. Doesn't the batter have to like look at the pitcher before 8 seconds,
so they don't quit
that's
the batter? Yeah.
As long as you do that, you're fine. Then you can just. But once they get the pitcher can throw it at if he's set, he can pitch it at any time. So you can't dick around in the box. But there's they fell into a rhythm pretty fast of getting in the box, doing the thing, and then just hitting like normal. So they do it the same enough that when somebody does it different, it's noticeable. Mm-hmm. And so I like that. I'm amazed it's a Cub that does it. You'd think it would just be happening to them.
Because umpires have started warning the hitters about looking at the pitcher.
Well,
right, you've seen that.
One of the Pirates games, I think Reese McGuire got screwed out of that. Like there was he had 2 strikes on him. He called time, and then I think he didn't look at the pitcher in the eyes, and like the umpire called an automatic strike on him, and he was out.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have to warn him. They can just call a strike. Yeah. Another thing that Boog does drives me nuts is he's very quick to the umpire. All of a sudden will come flying out from behind home, and Boog will be like, it's a timeout. And like half the time, it's a pitch clock violation.
Yeah.
It's like, can you wait the extra second to see what he's signaling before you tell us and are wrong half the time? It's just like, you'd think if you fuck that up once, you'd be like, I should probably wait.
Yeah, and this is
Boog is the same guy who JD literally explained to him on the broadcast that it's only a foul tip if the catcher catches it, so he doesn't have to say into the mitt, and he still does it.
This is
I want to go hug Jim Deshaies. He literally took like 2 minutes out of a broadcast to explain to Boog on the air that he didn't have to say into the mitt.
This is
because if it's a foul tip, it has to be called.
This is what we lose today by. Sorry, Oleg, I don't mean to cut you off, but just this is what we lose by not having the occasional game where Pat will come over and call the game on TV. Because as the radio guy, he's learned, very well and very professionally, just let the play happen. You don't have to like say it immediately. You just can let it play out and then call the play after it happens.
Yeah. And then give us the result of the play and then tell us what happened, right? Give us the result of the play, like pop out to shortstop, runners out, and it was a great play by the shortstop as he ran, whatever it was, right? Which is the opposite of what Zaidman does. Zaidman calls the play as it happens, gets it wrong 25% of the time, and then still doesn't actually tell us the result of the play until well after the play is complete. And it's annoying. and then has these weird pregnant pauses in the middle of it.
When Pat would do the occasional marquee game, he still does it like a radio call. Like he noticeably would talk a lot more than you were used to. But it was Pat, so nobody cared. But also, what's he going to do? He's going to do like 8 of these games a year. He's going to like completely change the way he does the game. So there were people complaining, why does he have to talk so much? He doesn't describe everything. It's like, just
let him be.
Shut up.
It's Pat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the Hall of Famer.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm a little bit ahead of you. Yeah, I like Vince Scully did that, right? Like he just, I mean, he did. Was Vince Scully one of the ones who did radio and TV at the same time for a while?
Yeah,
forever for a while, and then his last, then towards the end, I think the Dodgers simulcast the first 3 innings.
Okay.
And then like Charlie Steiner and Rick Monday would take over on the radio.
Okay.
And Vin was only doing home games by then, so they were doing all the road games.
Gotcha.
But for a lot of time he was in LA once they started doing TV. Vin was the whole thing.
Yeah.
He was by himself doing
good.
TV and radio at the same time.
Kind
of like the old the Bulls used to do that with Jim Durham and Johnny Red Kerr. They were the radio and the for a while they were the radio and that was also noticeable because Jim Durham was describing everything on TV and you're like, for fuck's sake, and then you realize, oh, he kind of has to, because half of his audience can't see what's happening.
There's a why, because they're blind. I'm just kidding. But there's an in between there that Vince Scully was really good. Like I mean, it's Vince Scully, right? But there was just you wouldn't know that he was doing the other one.
No.
You wouldn't know that he was doing the other one.
That's true, yeah.
It was wonderful. When you were listening to him, whether you're watching him on TV or on the radio, you think that that's all he was doing when he was doing. He was just good. I don't know if everybody knew that, but Vince Scully's good. It was good at what he was good.
It did help. It did help for most. I think damn near all the time he was a Dodger announcer. Maybe there was other times, but that he was like solo in the booth by himself.
Yeah.
So
he never had a partner with the Dodgers. His partners were only when he did national stuff.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it was just Vin.
When I first moved to Denver, when I lived in Denver for a couple of years.
Well, and the 2 years that Nipsey Russell did the games with him. I forgot about those.
Well,
then Tom Dreesen tried it, and he was too much of a Cub homer, so then they just went right back to just Vin.
Well,
wait a second? Are you serious?
No.
Do you remember
joining me this season on Dodger Baseball, Nipsey Russell?
Do you guys remember at all any of the so they weren't the MLB The Show video games, but it was like the same franchise. For the first few years of that video game franchise, Vin Scully was the broadcaster in those games, and he did actually have a partner in that game, which that was kind of my first introduction to Vin Scully, honestly. And so when I went and actually heard him call a Dodgers game for the first time, I'm like, okay, where's the other guy in this booth? Because the MVP baseball games had Dwayne Kuiper and Mike Krukow on them. And that
was my first exposure to those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you
Lobster Cola. I can still hear Dwayne's Lobster Cola ad reads.
Lobster Cola, yes, exactly. But I mean, you move on to hearing Vin Scully in real life, and it does take some adjustment to hear him just solo when your first experience with him is him with a partner.
Even were you disappointed?
No, not at all. Vin is great.
Even people people our age, we knew Vin. He always had a partner. It was Joe Garagiola, and then he did football for CBS. I don't remember. I think it might have been he might have had Hank Stram for a while.
Okay.
His last football game he ever did for CBS was the Montana to Clark.
Oh wow, in '82 or '81.
Catch. That was his last. He stopped doing football after that.
Wow.
Yeah, CBS, that whole CBS thing. Donahue and I have dug up old games. Like we found the Bob Costas for CBS doing a Bears Vikings game with Johnny Morris. But they had Jack Buck did football for CBS.
It was good when the Bears. It was good that the Bears were good when I got into football, right? Because I'm a stinking immigrant. Can I say that during our current times?
I don't know.
At the time, you were an immigrant.
Yeah. So I'm a citizen. So because I was an immigrant, it took me a while to catch up to sports, and then again being young and not really having my dad into sports or into American sports at the time. So it's super interesting how I kind of learned. So for me, it was just John Madden. I just assumed John Madden and Pat Summerall did all the games because when the Bears were good, when I started watching the Bears, it was just they always did the games. It was just on CBS, and the Bears were always the number one show or the number one broadcast, and they just always did it. And that's
when
what
I first started watching football, it was Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris did every game.
Yeah,
And I just
sure.
assumed that they just did every Bear game.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the Bears got good, and Tim and Johnny weren't doing any of them. They were stuck doing Packers Bucks instead.
Yeah.
I'm sure Johnny loved that. I could be at the fucking track. I don't need to be sitting in a Lambo freezing my ass off.
Yeah, but in baseball it was much the same thing because it was a lot of games of the week, and it was a lot of Vince Scully and Joe Garagiola. And that's probably and then Monday night baseball. Did Howard Cosell do those?
Yeah. They had their
Was he-
lineup changed all the time, but Howard did a lot of it.
Yeah.
Euchre did them for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The best, I used to love the
Al Michaels did a bunch of them.
remember in the middle of those games, both in Monday Night Football and Monday Night Baseball, they would do "You Make the Call."
Yeah.
I used to love those.
It was which oil company was that sponsored those?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was amazing because we now you'd have seen the highlight like 1,000 times. You'd be like,
Mhm.
oh, of course, but we hadn't seen it. Like there was genuine drama in You Make the Call.
It was
I
amazing.
don't know, is he out of bounds? I can't tell.
It wasn't HD, obviously, so you had the kind of the weird sort of pixelated TV. Not that we knew any better at the time, but oh man, those were when I was a kid, I would just wait for did they have them at the end of the fourth inning or something like that on Monday Night Baseball, and I would just sit around and just wait for that. It was the most fun thing.
It was Alcoa. I just thought of it.
Alcoa,
Alcoa
okay.
presents You
Wasn't
Make
it-
the Call.
Weren't they the aluminum people?
Yeah, they might not have been guests.
That was some. I could be wrong, but I thought it was some aluminum.
Coated okay. Oh, IBM presented You Make the Call
Okay.
for a while. But here's
God, I should look those up. Those were a blast. But yeah, those were great because it was always a highlight it was an actual highlight of a game, and it was actually some weird thing that happened, and it was very exotic at the time.
all right. Well, here we're gonna because Praz didn't grow up with this, and he won't.
Oh,
Okay.
Poor
We're gonna
Praz.
do. This is an IBM presents, but I found one. It's a
Yeah.
You Make the Call baseball one.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to watch this. And
All
then
right.
you guys are gonna have to make the call, and we'll.
All right, let's see. What do I feel? This is kind of similar to when Paul Rudd goes on.
Yeah, it's just gonna be the video of the alien bouncing down the Harry Callis
That's wonderful.
Nice. Oh, Pirates Cubs. Nice.
Cubs. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think he does, right?
Yeah.
He does. Umpire's part of the field. Alan Alda doing an IBM commercial with is that Frank Burns? No, it's the other guy from MASH.
This is great.
I think I paid how much for that MASH reunion?
capabilities.
Oh, I was wrong.
Dead ball. Maybe that was the rule at the time. I don't know.
Oh,
Look at that. Oh, how is that even better? We got stumped by a You Make the Call.
wow.
There you
So wait
go.
a second. So it's I think Donahue's going to come in and start chatting about this if he's watching. So they made the distinction that if it hits the umpire before it hits a
Before the
fielder
fielder had the chance to field the
Yeah.
ball. So in other words, I guess if the umpire is between the fielder and the ball, like if it maybe it's I know in basketball, like if the ump is out of bounds, the ref is out of
Yeah.
bounds and the pass hits him and it's out of bounds, and if he's inbounds, it stays inbounds.
Okay.
I don't know. Now, what did they
Huh.
do though? They put that was Sid Bream. If Sid Bream hit the ball and Bobby Bonilla got sent back to second, but did Sid go to first?
Yes.
Or was Sid out?
He
Sid went
gets
to
a
first.
base
Okay.
hit. Yeah.
So he got a hit, but the runners could only advance as far as Sid. Okay.
yes.
There you go. Learn something new
Well,
every day.
And
Look
in
at
that,
that.
like in all cases, that would only be one base then, right? Because there's no umpires in the outfield
Yeah, you
unless
just move up,
unless
to
it's
the next base.
What about
unless it's the
what?
playoffs.
Yeah. What about the playoffs?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What about
What
the
if
playoffs?
what
Like,
if
it's
fat old
one
John
of the offense-
McSherry had wandered in front of the left fielder in a World Series game and gotten hit in the head, killing him immediately?
Did
That
John
happened to him.
McSherry ever? Do you think he ever umped in the outfield?
I don't know. Well, he may have. They could put him at third, and he was kind of in left at the same time. He's the one who keeled over and died at Riverfront Stadium on opening day, right? That was
Yeah,
John
is that
McSherry.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a big guy, right? He was the.
Yeah, it was a big guy. Yeah, they used to umps used to be super fat for some reason.
Yes.
like lots of them.
Yeah. And they had that
Why
outside in the
not?
American League. In the
I-
American League, they had that outside chest protector.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
It's-
How do you even see around
That's
that? thing, like
true.
that whole.
Well,
Well, that was the whole thing about supposedly the reason that the National League was the fastball league.
Yeah.
And the American League was the breaking ball league because it was easy to get curveballs. This was the theory. I don't know if it was real, but it was supposedly easier to get curveballs called strikes low because the ump would lose the breaking pitch behind the big puffy protector he was holding and just have to assume. And they claimed that's why. And I'm sure it was bullshit. I'm sure it's one of those things that if we had StatCast back there, they'd be like, it's the same You know,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like, you know,
right.
It's funny. I remember making small talk with like someone I was sitting next to at a game in like 2019, and the home plate umpire was, a pretty in shape guy, and the guy that I was talking next to, he was basically saying the entire time, like, there's something I can't put my finger on. Like, this guy doesn't feel like a real umpire. And like after a few innings, it finally occurred to me, well, the reason why he doesn't feel like an umpire is he's not fat enough. Clearly.
No Ed Hockley.
Yeah. Ooh, man, I would love to see Ed Hockley ump some baseball games. Great. He'd have a great strikeout like call.
So the baseball Ed Hockley is who, Jim Wolf? Like they're always like going on about his biceps.
Is that right? Well, he's right. He's Randy Wolf's brother.
Randy Wolf's brother. And I think he only was allowed to ump Randy behind home once. Like they let him do it once because otherwise they weren't supposed to. He wasn't supposed to call balls and strikes for his brother.
Was
and
it like a spring training game or something?
I think like late in the season one year it didn't matter, so they just let him do it. I think I may be remembering that.
Huh.
But you would think, if you're an ump, you should be able to be impartial. Shouldn't matter.
Right.
Actually, right. I know for a fact that if I was pitching and my brother was the ump, he would squeeze the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I'd be yelling the whole game.
Exactly. Got to give him that hard time,
Right. It'd be the opposite of doing you favors. That's fun.
In game one on Tuesday, the field mic picked up Jordan Baker yelling at Pat Murphy on a pitch that was a strike. Pat was wrong. Pat yelled, like, you couldn't hear what Pat yelled, but you could hear Baker yell back at him. It wasn't even close to being outside.
Wasn't even close to being outside.
Jordan Baker is a noted red ass too, though. So.
Is he? It's on Facebook Reels or on TikTok. I don't remember what it was. Like Joe West did the Crookchin podcast.
Did he?
He's a pretty good storyteller.
Yeah, I would guess. I think old Joe.
Yeah,
he was just such an ass.
Yeah, right. No, he always had to be the center of attention. Is what it was more than anything. I don't know if he was probably a bad umpire. I think all umpires, I think, are bad to some degree.
What I remember was, so former Major League umpire Larry Young is from Roscoe, Illinois. And
there you go.
And he played football at Rock Valley College. And so he was still like active with the booster club or whatever. And so a few times we had like golf outings, and Larry would, if he was off, it's amazing how much time the umpires were off during the summer.
Is that right?
Really?
Yeah. He'd be like, well, Larry can't come, he's umping. And one of the guys would be like, are you shitting me? He's like, you get like 4 weeks of vacation to spread around. Like, he'll take it off. So we were sitting in the bar after one of the rounds, and this had just been, there was a huge brawl between the Yankees and the Orioles. Like Darryl Strawberry was in it, and Armando Benitez, and like it was a big one. And Larry was in the middle of it. And he said, the hardest part of that then is all the umps, after you get everything sorted out, then the umps get together and try to figure out who you're going to throw out. And it's really like who saw who do what, like, and he's like, we're going through this list and I'm writing them down. And I'm like, Jesus, we're throwing out like half the Yankees. Like they're, and it's like, I got to go over tell Joe Torre that he's going to do whatever. And I think Davey Johnson maybe was managing the Orioles, and they only lost a couple of guys. And Larry says he goes over to tell, he goes to Davey first, and he tells him, guy, Davey's chewing his ass. I can't believe it wasn't our fault. We didn't start this fight. Blah, blah, blah. He's going on and on and on. And he goes over to Joe then, and he's like, okay, so he's like, okay, your pitcher is out, and 2/3 of your outfield is out, and most of your infield. And Joe's just kind of like, okay, whatever. He just goes back to the dugout and figuring out who to put in.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's good stuff. Yeah, I think those umpires, sort of like ever since, who was Luciano, is that his name? Wrote the book. That's all fun stuff. They have good stories. I wish I could remember the story that I heard that made me laugh. I don't know, was it yesterday, that Joe West told about, it was about Johnny Bench. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
It was about about Johnny could hold 8 balls in his hand at once. How did he get those 4 guys to stand so close together? I think I've used that joke on this podcast before, but yeah. Do you remember that famous picture of? Yeah, there's a famous picture of John, like literally holding like 6 baseballs in his hand.
Because that's when you said, I don't remember you saying that on this podcast. You may have said it somewhere else. But as soon as you said Johnny Bench could hold 8 balls together, I'm like, my first thought hold 2. How did not that exact joke, but it must have something to do with 4 guys in the same room.
We're gonna have to count these.
The amount of balls.
There you go.
Oh,
One,
man.
2,
See,
3,
right.
4. I guess it's 7.
6.
It's at least 7. One.
Is it?
Oh, that's awkward
3,
now. So one guy only
4,
gets.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I mean, okay,
if it
so
doesn't
it's
fit, it doesn't fit.
it's 3 players and Darren Jackson
Or John Kruk
or Mike Lowell.
or Jameson Tyone.
Oh, there you go. So
Oh, yeah.
actually, so he could hold the entire Cubs starting rotation in his hand.
He'd be a great catcher for this rotation. Yes. Oh man.
Oh, good stuff.
One of these days, I'm gonna chart how we get from one topic to the next.
God,
Yeah,
why?
right.
Why would you? Holy cow! I will say this about the Cubs. I don't know if it's in closing or whatnot. I think the real frustrating thing, and maybe this is just for me, of the last month and a half, has really been that they're hitting the ball somewhat hard a lot. Like I remember one game last week, where I'm like, they've hit the ball hard 50% of the time and they don't have a hit yet, like over 95 miles an hour. And it's that I think, and I can't figure out whether I think of that as a positive sign, or whether it just makes things even more frustrating. Probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, because it makes you feel like, like obviously they have the right approach at the plate, but do you have a plan B at all when that's not working?
Well, it's not a plan B. It's like there's no, what else do you do? Like they've tried bunting a lot, maybe not a lot, but they've tried bunting.
Not too
Yeah,
much.
That didn't
Andy's
really work.
favorite.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, same.
And sometimes it's like when they do it, I don't remember the exact thing, but there was one where the first batter walks on 4 pitches.
Yeah.
And then they're immediately trying to bunt. It's like, no, at least make the pitcher throw a strike, right? Like if he's all over if it was a Cub pitcher, I would be convinced that he's not gonna be able to throw a strike the rest of the inning. So why are you just gonna not just give him a strike, you're gonna give him an out right here. Like take until he throws a strike and then bunt.
And not try bunting, because you should be able to bunt on a single pitch, and even if you don't, fine.
And then they had the absurdity with Pete the other day where they have a runner on first, Pete tries to bunt, there's a wild pitch, the runner gets to second, Pete still bunting. Like the runner is in scoring position now. Let Pete hit.
Yep.
You're just going to give it out to move him to third, and now you're only going to get 2 cracks at it instead of 3. Why are you doing it?
Here's what I'll say too about the whole bunting thing. If you're gonna do it with 1 strike and 2 strikes, I get that if it goes foul on 2 strikes, you strike out. But part of the reason why some teams will bunt is if a runner is on first, to stay out of a double play. Wouldn't you rather still just bunt and risk only having 1 out recorded instead of swinging away and then getting 2?
Well, you're assuming that swinging away equals a double play, and I don't know what those percentages are, but that's quite an assumption.
I mean, I think it would all go into maybe, whoever the batter at the plate is, what his ground ball rate is, some stuff like that. But
well, I do think part of it, and I think that the bigger point is that if you're bunting, there's a greater shot of you getting out, right? There's just simply a better chance of you bunting into an out, no matter what it is. So you're 70%, I don't know what the numbers are, 70% of the way towards an out, right? When you're bunting. Where if you're swinging away, maybe it's not quite that. And so you give yourself the opportunity to do something a little bit more, right? The best you can do in a bunt, generally speaking, 99% of the time, is if you get a base hit, you're getting just a single. Whereas if you're swinging away, you're getting
That's
the
true.
chance of you getting a double, triple, home run is higher. So the out is worth much more than moving the runner over, and the out is worth, you're not assuming that you're going to hit into a double play. Like that's, you might as well just assume that you're going to bunt into a double play just as easily.
Why can't you just do the Bob Brenly thing where it's like you tell the batter, if you feel like you're going to hit a double play, strike out?
That too. That would work very well.
It's one of Bob's actual funny things that he would say. If you feel like you're hitting double play, just strike out.
So like bunting in its own right, and the numbers bear this out, like how many, what the chances are of you scoring a run. It's always the fewer, breaking news again, the fewer outs you have, the better chance you have of scoring the run. So giving away an out, even moving the runner to second base, still you're gaining a little bit more, right? I think the chance of you scoring 2 runs goes down. There's all sorts
for
of
sure, but
different numbers that come into play.
I can still see from the perspective of, maybe an old school baseball mind, that if you have the chance to possibly get 2 outs when it's likely that, the old adage that you fail 70% of the time, really it's like 65% of the time when we're factoring on base percentage.
Right.
But,
Right.
that if the chances of you failing are that high, that, you may as well just concede that you're going to make one out instead of risking possibly hitting into 2 outs. I don't agree with it, but I can kind of see it from that perspective.
I don't know if this analogy is going to make sense in a baseball podcast. Um, do you know when, like in hockey, when you get a penalty shot, right? You always want to take the penalty shot, right? Even if you had the opportunity to take a 2-minute power play, you still always want to take the penalty shot because a power play, you're going to be successful 20% of the time scoring a goal, even if the 2 minutes go off the board. Whereas on a penalty shot, it's closer to a 50% success rate.
Is it really 50%?
50%. But yeah, if you're, it's a much higher percentage rate, right?
For sure.
And you always want that extra goal.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of the same thing in baseball where a bunt gets you, an out 90% of the time, if you're sacrifice bunting, get to an out 90% of the time, whatever it is. But the chances of you moving the runner over, even if you do ground out, in other words, if you're afraid of hitting a double play, just run, have the runner try to steal, right? And then swing away, do a hit and run, whatever it is. So bunting is just generally, then there are situations and, bottom of the 10th inning, if you're, bottom of the 9th inning, if you've got a runner on second base, nobody out, fine. I can, one run where you're playing for one run to win the game, I get it. Even then, it's still probably iffy, but I get it. But it's hard to assume that you're going to hit into a double play. It's sort of like I remember hearing one time when they changed the field goal rule, right, way back whenever it was, where now the offense would get the ball where the kick happened instead of where the line of scrimmage was if you miss a field goal. And somebody asked, does that change the way that you kick field goals? And whatever head coach it was, well, I don't plan on missing when you go to kick a field goal.
Right.
Right. It's sort of the same thing. You don't plan on hitting into a double play, and the chances of it happening are probably relatively low compared to getting the out. It's worth not giving up the automatic out.
Fair enough.
I don't know that I have the numbers to do it, but that's intuitively
fair enough. And again, you only get 3 outs per inning. You may not. You don't want to waste one because you're afraid that you might hit into 2.
It's the old Earl Weaver thing. He was very, very big on saying that the most precious commodity that you have in baseball is 27 outs.
Don Baylor did not agree with that.
No.
God
and
bless
it was
the
bad
01
enough
Cubs.
he did it with the Cubs. He did it with the Rockies. And if there's one place you don't want to give out outs, it's in Coors Field.
Yes. Yeah.
Like if you can with 1 out in Coors Field left, you can score like 8 runs.
Yeah.
And
they just proved it in the game
willy-nilly,
against the Pirates not too long ago.
willy-nilly, just handing them out left and right. It's like, Jesus, Don.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's sort of the thing about it is like I think that the focus on scoring 1 run sometimes overshadows the idea that you can actually score more than 1 run in any inning. And so you play for the 1 run because it's so precious, right? The perception is that it's precious. That you lose sight of the forest through the trees, right? You lose sight of the fact that you want to score as many runs as possible.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And my problem with the Cubs all of a sudden adopting this, we're going to settle for bunts, is you're only doing it because your offense is struggling. So clearly, you had made a decision before the season that bunting is stupid and we're not going to give up outs.
Yeah.
But now when you're already making outs at a rate that is unacceptable, you're giving extra ones away. You literally need to give yourself more chances.
Yes.
You should actually be, when you're struggling like this, you probably should bunt less.
Yes.
Because you need more chances to get hits. You can't just be handing out an extra out here or there for 1 base. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's the fallacy of when you're struggling, you want to score the 1 run, right? It's like what I mentioned before. It's that fallacy of I want to score the 1 run because we're struggling at the expense of better odds of scoring multiple runs later on.
Not that anybody cares. Well, there's a live stream. There are some people watching.
Mm-hmm.
This might not be Owen Caissie. It may have been Owen Caissie. The Owen Caissie game may have been game 1. Getting pinch hit for by Justin Turner in game 2 with runners at second and third probably takes a little bloom off Owen Caissie day.
Why? Like, I get that there's a lefty on the mound. You have a rookie, a lefty hitting rookie. Like, I get it.
I'm reading this wrong. Yeah,
No, I think you're right.
He's hitting for Owen.
Yeah. No,
One,
yeah.
how is this the first time? I'm sure not, because in the old days everybody had red hair. When was the last time one redhead pinch hit for another? And I
Ooh.
guarantee you, Boog gets talked about
Well,
this 10 minutes ago.
I'm trying to think. Did like Matt Merton ever pinch hit for Ryan Dempster at any point as Cubs?
Dempster's got so little hair now that I can't even remember if he was a redhead. Although Turner doesn't have much more. It didn't work. Boo!
And I know that
See,
Turner.
Craig?
I know that Turner. Like this is the other thing, right? It's playing for the one run instead of thinking. And look, I'm not trying to suggest that I know more than Craig Counsell. Like I get it. He's got his reasons. The numbers say that Justin Turner still hits lefties pretty well. Still doing
hitting
it,
lefties well, and he's
this
been a very successful pinch hitter this year. So
Right.
honestly,
So
it's
so
not
fine,
the worst thing he's ever.
But it's also the fifth inning,
Well,
and you're only up 3-1.
and it's not like you're going to stick Justin Turner out in right field now. You basically just wasted him for the rest of the game. What?
So it's got to be Willie, right?
Probably Willie,
Mays
yeah.
Castro for the rest of this one. No, it's got to be. They don't have anybody else. They bullpen.
Yeah, they don't have anyone else.
Ooh, wait.
Well, Reese.
Unless the DH.
Does Kyle Tucker now find his way into the game?
Oh, there you go.
Well, I guarantee you they're not putting him in the middle of.
Yeah, it's Willie Castro.
Kyle's like he's got his shower shoes on.
Right.
His
Yeah,
feet
oh, God.
kicked up.
Yeah,
Craig's
yeah.
like, all right, you're going in. What? No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's fine. Like I'm good. Like I said, I'm good with Kyle taking a couple days. I know what you're saying, Andy. I get it.
No, I don't like it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's too. I agree with you. It's too early. You're gonna end up with the bats now, where you would like to have had the big strapping, guy instead of Willie Castro. Although Willie did a 3-run homer yesterday.
Yeah,
right? Or today. Or all the games are blending together.
I was talking about Kyle taking a couple days off. Like I'm good with that.
Oh, I thought you were. Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's 2. He better be back tomorrow. Because
yeah, I mean, clear his head a little bit. Like
got to get this.
It's weird. Like I said, it's just I feel like it's just bad planning to do it during a doubleheader, right? Like could have done it against the Pirates. Could have done it like there's been plenty of opportunities.
They were committed to it because they had a doubleheader scheduled yesterday. Was going to take off.
Right.
The doubleheader moved to today, and they still taking it. I think the plan was these 2 days all along, no matter what.
That's what I mean. Like why
I
couldn't
don't.
have been the 2 days against the
weird.
Pirates? That's just what I'm saying.
Well, maybe they thought he would get back on track against the Pirates, and it didn't happen. And they're like, "All right, fine, we got to set him." No, you shouldn't have to do this. When you get you get an MVP candidate in right field, you shouldn't have to be worried about when do we get him his mental health break.
See,
it's like, oh, come on.
Here's how you know
things aren't going good.
Here's how you know it'd be really bad is if Kyle Tucker did start tonight. His spot came up against a lefty, and then Justin Turner was pinch hitting for him.
And then he pitched for Kyle Tucker.
Right. Wow, JMO into the 6th.
Tucker has
first start off the IL. Pretty good. Okay.
Tucker has hit for Pete recently.
Tucker pitched hit for Pete?
Yeah, he hit for Pete. And it pissed me off because that was a game at home, the last time they were home. And Pete's spot, he was on deck, and there were runners on with 2 outs. And Turner was getting ready in the dugout. He clearly had his helmet on. He was getting ready to go. The inning ended right there. And then the Cubs either tied or down by 1. Turner led off. He pinch hit for Pete, and he led off. It's like
Turner. I think he said Tucker. All right.
No, Turner. Maybe I did. I still get the 2 names confused. I'm talking about Turner. He was going to hit for Pete with runners on with 2 outs against a lefty. They left the lefty in then to pitch the next inning. So he did pinch hit Turner for him. It's like, no, Pete should hit there. Because if Pete gets on, Pete can steal second.
Yeah.
And Hap was on deck. I was like, well, Pete gets on, then you can pinch hit for Hap. But God forbid we would never pinch hit for the Grady and Hap. Even though right-handed this year, he's back to being fucking horrible again. He was good at it for like a month. Like his numbers were upside down. He was better against batting right-handed, and that has completely gone away. He's helpless against him still. He shouldn't be playing against left-handed pitchers. Like,
I think you could have put a period after playing.
Yeah.
I think you could have put the period after playing.
Don't say that if you're in section 503 or 504 of the bleachers.
Yeah, you get thrown out for besmirching the great Ian Happ.
Yes.
Man, how dare you not want to sit out there and do the same thing?
Let's do it. Let's do it together one of these days.
It was a ball game, but it was fun. Yeah, dude, I'm in.
All right. Well, we'll see. Sure, the Cubs will win all the rest of the games in this series, and
for the rest of the year.
Get on a nice hot streak. Hey, if the Cubs won out from here out, would they catch the Brewers? Or would the Brewers stay so hot they still couldn't catch them?
Honestly,
Like,
That's a
let's
good question.
cross that bridge when we come to it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what?
Because this is
Let's
it,
just-
right? After
Yep.
they don't play again.
No, they don't play again, period.
After
Until the
after Thursday,
until the
right?
NLCS.
There
Yeah.
you go. Well, no, the Brewers aren't going to be there.
Oh, it
Come
could be
on.
the first. It could be the second round.
In the
It could be the
DS.
second round.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
They don't reseed, right? Like or do they? No, they do reseed. Like if the Cubs
Yeah. So if
the Cubs finish with the first wild card, no, and the Brewers finish with the top seed, it wouldn't be until the NLCS.
they wouldn't be,
because
they'd
the
be
Brewers-
opposite each other, because the Cubs
I
would play
think
then the
so.
third division. No, Cubs had the best wild card record.
so they'd
They
play
play the worst wild card team.
No, they'd play the middle wild
No,
card.
no, they play the middle wild card team.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. The worst one goes to the
Yeah.
third division winner.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
No, you're right. It would be the second round because if the
Yeah.
Cubs win and the
Right, because then
because
the number one seed
Brewers-
is guaranteed to get a wild card team, right?
it is
or no?
guaranteed. Yes,
And
yes.
by the way, sorry to delay this more if you're planning on ending it, but looking around the National League right now, some of the teams projected to make the playoffs are, they're kind of struggling as badly as the Cubs are too. We mentioned the Mets and we mentioned the Dodgers. The Phillies,
Oh, we
the
did.
Phillies might not have their two best pitchers going into the playoffs. Zach
Yes.
Wheeler might be out
Yeah.
for the year. Aaron Nola already
Yep.
is. So
No, Aaron Nola just came back.
Yeah, he's awful.
He hasn't been
Okay.
that good.
well,
Anyway.
all right, if he hasn't
Yeah,
been
Aaron
that
Nola just
good,
came back.
They have
Right.
Christopher Sanchez though.
Yeah, Christopher Sanchez
Christopher
might
Sanchez,
finish
Ranger
top 3 in
Suarez
Cy
too.
Young.
They do still
Yeah,
have a
Suarez
really
has
damn
been
good
mad.
rotation
He's
after
been all right.
that.
Well,
But they're gonna.
Yeah,
I mean, Zach Wheeler is clearly their ace. They would really
yeah,
miss.
yeah,
Right.
yes.
That would be a huge loss if he can't come. And
Yes.
it looks like he probably won't. It looks like, not that the Cubs will care, but it looks like Hader might not be back for the Astros either. Like two
Yeah.
World Series contenders lost their best pitcher. Although I guess Hader's the second best pitcher on the Astros, but they lost him like on the
So
same
they got
day.
Hunter Brown. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny, for all this losing the Cubs have done, they are tied for the third best record in the National League.
Yeah.
They have the
Ooh.
second best run differential still.
Is there
And it's not just
is there still a chance they can carry on their, what is this now, 4th straight year of having the 5th best record in the National League in the second half?
Anything
yeah,
is possible. I mean, that's
yeah,
really what they're
anything is
going
possible.
for.
Yeah, right.
That
That's what I said. I looked at the standings. And I'm like, man, they got to put a streak together just to get to the 5th best
Right.
record in the second half.
Andrew, you
Yeah,
used
that's
to be
rough,
able
but-
to do that. You used to be able to go from, you could look at the standings from one date to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mhm.
don't see how you can do that right now. But I'll
I'm
try to
sure
figure
there's
it out.
something. Yeah.
I mean, I could do the All-Star break, and then but I have to go through every National League team and figure out who's got what. I'm not going to do that. There used to be a way that you would literally get the standings just for those days, which was kind of cool. So you could see
Like,
that.
oh, I see. So, like, what are the standings from July 1st through now?
There's
through
there's a
today.
way on
These
like
are-
Baseball Reference you can do it if you go to like that day
I'm
on the
sure there is.
I'm sure.
calendar and then see who's best since then.
But yeah, so the let's see. So the Cubs are playing 500 over the last 10. We can go better than that. Can't
Well,
we
that's
do,
sort of the
like,
thing, right? Is that
last
they
20?
just had a really rough 10-game stretch, and they were still only a few games under 500 for, like, I don't know, since the All-Star break or whatever it is, after going 2-8. Like like I said, I get the frustration, and I'm frustrated also, but they're not bottoming out. Like, this isn't rock bottom. They're not like they're playing bad ball and they're getting unlucky, but they're getting still some good performances. They're still winning some games, and it's just they're on the brink of it's just amplified because the Brewers are so good.
All right, so like last 20 games. This is
Yeah.
going into today. Brewers 18-2.
Sure.
Cubs 9-11. The Reds, who have crawled back into wildcard condition, 10-10, playing 500 over that stretch. The Phillies are 12-8, so that's pretty good. The Mets 6-14.
Yeah.
What happened? Where did
What
the
are the
Dodgers
Dodgers?
go? Oh, there's the West. Dodgers are 10-10. So yeah, there's a lot of that going.
Okay.
Like, you're not. It's not like, this is what I mean. Like, it's not like I said. The biggest frustrating thing about this run, and yeah, I'm not suggesting the Cubs are playing good baseball or anything like that, but it hasn't been as dire, I think, as it feels. And I think the reason why it feels so dire is less to do with the Cubs. Although I
Yeah.
get it, they're not hitting. There's
I mean,
bad thing, but it's just the Brewers.
I guess the frustration should be, no matter how red hot the Brewers are, if
Yeah.
the Cubs had played the kind of baseball they were playing,
Yeah.
they would have pushed the wild card basically out of range for
exactly.
anybody else.
Yes, that's true. That's a good
Right.
point. That's good. But even then, like even your point just now about the last 20 games, they're still only a couple games under. What did you say they were 9-11? Whereas everybody else, like even the Reds are 10-10, and they've made up some ground on a terrible Mets team. Well, a team that's been playing terribly.
Yeah, so
The
like
Mets
over
are
the
6 and
last
14.
20 games, the Reds have gained 1 game on the Cubs.
And the Cubs haven't been playing their best ball. Like
The
again,
Cubs
it
playing as
doesn't
bad
come
as
to
they
play.
have
Yeah.
gone 4 games clear of the Mets. They've picked up
Yeah.
4 games on the
Mhm.
Mets. They've gone even with the Padres have caught up a little bit. Although the Padres
Yeah.
are on a 4-game.
Well-
the Padres were red hot. Now they're on a 4-game losing streak.
Here's the thing with the Padres, by the way. We should start rooting really, really hard for them to take first place over the Dodgers. Because I brought this up, I think, on the last episode we recorded. The Cubs have the tiebreaker against the Dodgers with the head-to-head record. The tiebreaker with the Padres is still to be determined because they tied head-to-head 3-3, and that will still go to divisional record. But if the Padres can just take first place, then it won't even matter.
Boy, but who cares? Like what you're doing is if
Well,
you
it'd be
have
for-
6
for-
seeds,
It'd be like for you could
and
get
field in the first round.
Right.
That's it.
which is a big deal. You don't want
But
to
you're
go on the
still
road
playing-
for that first round.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're
But
still
would you rather play the Dodgers at home
or the
or
Padres.
go play the Padres in San Diego? I would rather go play the Padres in San Diego. I just
Yeah,
have a
I-
hunch. I have a hunch
Wrigley
that
in
when the season
October
ends,
and the Dodgers pitching
oh
is
yeah,
pretty beat up.
that's always been so good for the Cubs. That's been
Ay.
amazing. Wrigley. When was the last time they haven't scored they haven't scored more than 1 run in a playoff game at Wrigley since the last time they won
17.
one.
Yeah, the last. Well,
It's really
no,
bad
the Rockies,
when you
the
add
Rockies
in,
wild card game, because they did score 1 in that game.
right. I said
Yeah,
more than
okay.
1 run. They scored 1.
So more than 1.
They scored 1 run. The Brewer game wasn't, that's not a true playoff game.
Well,
but it
and that was only
basically.
1 run scored in that
It was
game
for
too,
it was for the division. They scored 1 run. Then they scored 1 run against the Rockies.
Right.
Then
Marlins.
the Marlins, they
No,
scored
the
1 run
Marlins
in 2 games.
Yeah.
Total. Half hit a
Yeah.
homer.
But
That
yeah,
was it.
that's right.
A lot of offensive greatness has been coming in Wrigley for this bunch.
Yeah.
It's been
Like
awful.
it does. Like I think I get what you're saying, right? Because the Dodgers, frankly, by the time they get to the playoffs, they're going to have some pitching coming back. Like who knows if Glasnow will be around? But has Blake Snell been back yet? Is he?
Yeah, he's back.
Yet? He's back. How's he? Well, we'll figure out how he's doing. I'll look it up. But so the Dodgers will get healthier and healthier, you would think, getting closer to the playoffs.
I mean,
And all
if
they gotta do
they're
is sort of hold
still
on.
beat up, then you're fine, right?
You're right.
Like you
Right.
like that matchup.
Right.
But if they do manage to get their starting pitching sorted out, and then they'll throw Lord knows how many innings Shohei will pitch once you get to the playoffs. I don't 2 games against I guess you could look at it this way, right? If your goal was to win the World Series, which clearly is not the Cubs,
Right.
you really would like to get the Dodgers in that first round.
Yes, that's what I'm
Because you don't have to
saying.
beat them twice. It's the one time you only have to
Right.
beat them twice.
Right.
But that's, the Cubs
Yeah,
are
but
like,
the
we just
thing-
need to get through the first round.
Yeah.
So that's
Well, the
all. Then
thing about the Padres
we need more home
is
games.
what the Padres did, and I know it hasn't quite worked out yet, but that bullpen that the Padres put together, they've got some, Michael King is hurt again, but that bullpen that the Padres have, they go 5 deep in that bullpen, and that's what the
Well, that was
playoffs are
why
gonna
they
be
did
all
it,
about.
right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Preller looked at Cease has been rough.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's not just his ERA is a little high, but his other numbers he hasn't been very good. And when when Cap got all goo goo about the Cubs were going to trade for Dylan
Yeah.
Cease, it's like there would be a reason that he would be available. Yeah, I mean, I think AJ said, "Well, we can't get." That was the frustration with Jed, right? He said, we can't get on
Right.
top of the rotation. Well, then add to your bullpen. You need add some real pitching. He didn't do it, and the Padres were like, "Screw it. We'll load up the bullpen so much that we just need 3 innings out of any starter, and we're fine." And that's what they
Can you
did.
imagine the vapors that Judd Hoyer would have gotten if he had the number 3 prospect and
Oh God!
traded him for holy cow?
If he'd have traded the 8th prospect from the Cubs,
Yeah.
the perverts would have gone nuts. How could you give him up? He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Honestly, there was some disgruntlement from some of the prospect people that they traded Christian Franklin or any of the guys that they did, and it's like, guys, come on.
Who did they give
need
up?
help right
What
now.
did they give for Willie? They didn't give up anything for Willie. And there are
Ryan
pervs that are
Gallagher
mad.
was a pitcher in South
Yeah.
Bend. I don't know.
Didn't they give up Sean Gallagher to the Reds for
No,
Travis Wood?
that's the Josh Donaldson trade.
Sean
he
Marshall.
went in.
Yeah, Sean Gallagher was,
Or the
well, it wasn't
Rich
Gallagher,
Harden,
and
Rich
that
Harden.
was the
Yeah.
Rich Harden.
Rich Harden for Sean
Oh.
Gallagher and Josh Donaldson and maybe Corey's brother, Eric Patterson.
Oh, okay.
Hey, there we go. That's a good looking
Oh,
bobblehead.
yeah, there you
There's
go.
the Rich Harden
There you
bobblehead.
go.
There's not a lot of these in the
Man,
in the
I love
wild.
Rich Harden.
I'm trying to
I love
think,
Rich Harden.
Wait, how would there have been a Rich Harden bobblehead when he was only like in 09 they gave that away? Because like
I mean, they must have.
he came here middle of 08, so
Yeah.
the only other time they could have had done it was 09. Wow.
They knew greatness when they saw it.
I loved Rich Harden.
I liked him too. He'd be great on
so
this
he
team.
he made 12 starts for those 08 Cubs. 5-1
Yeah.
with a 177 ERA. He struck out 89 in 71 innings. So like the Brewers had gotten Sabathia, and then like 3 days later, Jim went out and got Harden. And but the reason Harden was available was because he always hurt. But when he was healthy, he was so good.
Oh, so good.
Well, one thing that
So good.
like I complained about a lot, and like, we beat to death how bad Dempster was in game 1, walking 7 Dodgers in the grand slam to James Loney. Rich Harden going into those playoffs was the most rested Cubs starting pitcher. And if you're going to give up that type of package to get him, I feel like he should have been the one to start game 1.
He clearly wasn't healthy. I mean, he made a start. He made that start in LA, and he 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 3 walks. Yeah, he was. I remember feeling going into that playoffs like it's just too bad we don't have a real Rich Harden, and I don't think we did. We never did after that ever. That species rarely existed. Healthy Rich Harden. When it did, he was a man.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see if the Cubs can hold on. They've pushed their lead out.
They got a
4-1.
They got a rare great start out of Jamison Tyone against a winning baseball team.
That just proves that the Brewers are not really good.
There we go.
If Jamison Tyone can do this, you suck.
True.
Because he only beats teams that suck. Has he beaten them already this year? I think they might be one of the rare
game in
teams.
Milwaukee in May. Yeah, he did.
There you go. He's got their number. He's the Brewer whisperer. Why can't Cade Horton just pitch with a glove on?
Why can't Cade Horton pitch with a glove? On his right
Yeah,
hand.
with his blisters. Can he do the Yu Darvish thing of just throwing lefty on his off days and see?
Yu's never going to do it. And poor Yu, I think it's over. I love him. He's one of my all-time favorites. He's not good. Maybe he needs to be all left-handed now. Maybe that's the answer. All lefty all the time.
There we go.
But my dream of him pitching an inning left-handed in the big leagues, I don't think is ever. I think this is it. He's 38. He's bad.
Yeah.
I think it's over.
Is Cade Horton, has he had this blister problem pop up before?
I think he said he did.
Okay.
He was talking about it. I made fun of that graphic that Marquis just ran, this huge thing that said, Cade Horton, blister.
Blister.
It's like, what? What are we doing? Calm down.
Could have just put that on the lower third of, while batter is still in the box. Show that.
Well, the Cubs play the Padres. No, the Cubs don't play the Padres. Well, in the playoffs, if the Cubs play the Padres, AJ Preller should have you come in, should tell Mike Schilt, the amazing Mr. Personality, Mike Schilt, that if Owen Caissie gets an at-bat in the playoffs, you got to bring you in to pitch left-handed to him.
Oh,
so we can settle the trade once and for all. Lefty you against Owen in the playoffs.
That'll determine the winner of the trade.
For all the marbles.
Yes.
But I'm sure, what do we got? Where's Reginald Preciado? I'm sure he's just about ready to.
Probably on the same Mexican League team as like Addison Russell right now.
Is he still 12? He's still in South Bend. He's only 22. He's in South Bend, hitting 220, 303, 299.
God.
Yeah, toss him in the same box
still
as
remember
Ed Howard.
Yeah. Oh, that Ed Howard pick. It was almost like, it was like a feel-good pick, and then it was like, he was in that White Sox academy, and we're going to draft him, so the White Sox can't draft him. And it's like, actual good players went after him, like Pete. Like, you could have just picked Pete, and you could have traded Javi for something else, or you could have kept Javi and had both. I remember that pick. People were just like, Keith Law's head almost exploded when that was the pick. He's like, what round did they think they were picking in? Did they wake up and it was the 10th? Yeah, we'll take Ed Howard. Oh, it's the first? Oh, shit. Oh, well. He's ours now.
Crow. Holy cow. Cade Cavalli's kind of turning. Oh man, Tyler Soderstrom would have been fine. Whatever. Jordan Westbrook. All right, I'm done.
It just
looking at
felt
this.
like a pick that was never going to work when they made it. It's like, what are
Right.
we? But
Yes.
remember though that with the that turned out to be a great draft because they signed the best undrafted free agent that year. Because remember the draft was only 5
Yeah, it was
rounds
only 5
because of
rounds.
COVID.
Yeah.
They got Matt Mervis, and that made up
Oh,
for
God.
all of it. They got a first round talent.
There we go. Worth it.
All right.
Okay, all right, we're really going this time.
Yeah.
It's only an hour 47 into this one.
Sorry to delay this one,
Holy
folks.
cow.
This is like a remember this crap. It kind of turned into it with Johnny
Woo.
Bench and
Yep.
umpire stories.
Mike will be yelling at his podcast device.
All right.
See you guys later.
Well, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Cubs will probably be in first place again. That'd be great.
It better be. Yeah, at this rate.
Wait, I almost missed. I can't just shut this one off because then the people don't get what they want.
Yeah.
That's how you end a show.
Many of us have herpes.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
It's fitting. It's got to be done with one of the best games of all time. Just unbelievable. I mean, got to congratulate the Dolan family.
Thank you. Sean, my podcast co-host Andy, you were his favorite player growing up.
Oh, thank you so much.
Awesome.